There's a new movie out by Disney. It's about a character. The main character like turns into a really giant being. Basically, when they're overstressed or they're feeling a lot of really strong emotions like anger or excitement or stress.
Yes.
And yeah, it's a Disney property, and I really loved it. It was such a good movie, wasn't it, Kanza?
I know. I don't know why they call themselves a monster, but I mean, like, I
I know.
honestly
I really liked
character
it.
immediately as they
What
came
did
on
you think,
screen.
Imran?
I was obsessed.
Did a new Hulk movie come out recently?
Uh, Sort of. If the Hulk were a big, fuzzy,
Not for
fluffy red
children.
panda.
Oh my god, okay. Turning red.
Yeah.
Clever.
Yeah. Hey guys, welcome to Geek Dhaba. I am here. This is Kanza. I am here with Sabeen and Yuna. We are gonna be talking about Turning Red. Let me just start off saying that I absolutely love this movie. I feel like we are finally in the generation. We are finally in that we are at that point in our lives where we are getting movies that are talking about stuff people consider taboo. But
Yeah.
we'll get to that eventually. Sabeen, what did you think about the movie?
I really loved it. Like you said, it was such a different experience watching this movie. Like Disney, Pixar, a few other studios, they're coming up with such incredible movies now. Like there's no good and bad anymore. Like they're moving away from those things. Like recently, we talked about Encanto. There's like generational trauma and everything, and this is kind of similar, but it's also different. And I don't know why people are comparing Encanto with Turning Red, because even though it's about a girl in glasses, she comes from a different, I would say, like Encanto was about Colombians, Turning Red is about Chinese Canadians. So they are similar, but they're also very different in their own right. So there's no comparison, and both are equally enjoyable.
I like you guys. I love Turning Red, and my favorite thing about it was so nostalgic, being set in the early '90s, right? Or the early
Yeah.
2002.
2000s.
2002.
Yeah, like yeah, so to the early 2000s. It was so nostalgic. I love the little Tamagotchis they had over there. My sister used to have one when I was a kid. Um, and the whole boy band thing. Hey, we were all young girls.
Oh
Yeah.
We all had our
god.
NSYNC,
it was
Backstreet Boys. It was such a nostalgic trip.
Yeah.
and our like Gen Z, they love One Direction. So and I think 5 Seconds of Summer. I'm not even sure what they're into, but yeah, like they've made a name for themselves. I think it's like a rite of passage, for a young girl having a boy
Yeah.
band, fangirling over them, losing her mind over them.
Yeah.
I loved it. It had a very hearty, nostalgic, heartwarming feel to it. And hey, we're Asians too. Like
Yeah.
we have the
Yeah.
whole we want to
We
make
relate.
parents
We
happy.
relate to
Yeah.
the trauma.
We have that whole obligation that we feel like we're not good enough. We have to work harder. So we really related to that. I feel like, um, I loved it, and I don't know why people are losing it over the whole thing that's really taboo. I mean, it happens to every girl worldwide.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's normal rite of passage. It's she's coming of age. It was beautiful. It was good. I liked how they represented it, and especially in a Disney slash Pixar movie that
Yeah.
millions of people watch. They're
Exactly.
normalizing
Yeah,
something.
Yeah.
exactly. Like 20 years ago, we could not have thought about something like this coming out from Desi. I mean, we used to get those classic love stories, and we used to get
Yeah.
boy saves girl, or we get a princess that needs help with some
Yeah.
sort
Like
of
the
good
Prince
drag. But
Charming,
now
the
we are
damsel in
actually
distress. We had those.
exactly, and now we are getting movies about young girls that can go, okay, hey, we see you and we hear you. We know what you've been through, and you're not alone. I mean, I
Exactly.
love the sort of message that we're getting from these movies now. And Mei Mei's mother just being like did the red peony bloom, and I was just like, God, if only somebody was there to be like this, because I thought I was gonna die that day when this happened to me.
Yeah. Yeah. The panic was real.
The
And the
panic was
panic was so
very.
real.
Yeah.
And like ultimately, like okay, so I feel like my mom was more like, okay, Yumna, you're ready, you're the supplies, and I'm like, um,
What do I do with them?
woman, am I dying? That's the question I'm asking you right now.
Yeah, like, am I dying? Do I need to go to the hospital? Yeah.
Yeah,
Even though
I agree.
I'd already had the talk like beforehand, but it was still like panic mode to the max.
I
Yeah,
mean, like
exactly. Like I knew
honestly,
as well because obviously like you get to know and you ask your mom
Mm.
and like I knew as
Yeah.
well, but when you experience it, right, it's a whole different experience. And I really love that they did that in the movie. I feel like
Yeah.
every young girl watching it is gonna understand. And even every young boy, like I feel like
Yeah.
it's this should be stigmatized. It's a
Yeah.
very normal biological process. It
Yeah.
happens with it.
Like
And
I
I
like
feel like
like when Mei was in she was hiding in the shower and she was screaming like I'm a gross red monster. Like, oh my god, please. Yes.
I felt sorry. I related to her so hard, like
Yeah.
throughout the movie. I mean, like I saw myself as the young girl with the with the glasses and everything, and
Yeah.
all her friends are being like, "Hey, why don't you do something for yourself? You don't have to please your mother constantly." And I'm just like, and Meme is just like, "No, you don't understand." And
Yeah.
I'm just like, "Yes, I
Less.
get that."
Like the same thing that Mirabelle says at this in the very
Hmm.
start of the movie, like probably her first dialogue, like when she's opening the door to go out of her room, and she's like, "Make your family proud." So
yes.
it's the similar message here, but
Yeah.
again, they're not comparable. They're way
And
two different
honestly,
things.
like, and honestly, besides all of this, besides the fact that we got a movie about a girl going through puberty, I loved her relationship with her mother throughout.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Yes.
yeah, we had a couple of problematic moments where we were like, yeah, dude, she's growing up, let her grow up.
Hmm.
But we faced with that too at on the daily at home, and we have
Yeah.
overbearing helicopter parents. And
Exactly.
I'm just glad her mom
It reminded
eventually
me of
realized,
Sunita.
yeah, you
When
know
she
what?
was 13, when
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
13, I remember Padhai was like my only priority. Like,
Yeah.
exactly.
bus
Yeah.
number like it was a normal thing. Like we didn't even
Yeah.
consider that like we didn't have life. We are like, okay, no, I have to study. I have to come home. I have to study.
Yeah.
So then we got older. We're like,
Oh
okay, like we
no, oh
have
no.
more interests.
Yeah, like when I went into the like 13, 14 age group, like we had Beyblade
Hmm.
and I had crushes on all those boys, on those animated characters. And yeah,
Hmm.
and like Kanza said, the helicopter parents, like I'm almost 31 now, and I'm still a baby for my mom. So
Yeah.
yeah, so a 13-year-old Meme, obviously her mom's going to be overprotective like anything.
I mean, I remember
Exactly.
like the movie they were getting excited about going to a boy girl party, finding ways to like buy tickets
Exactly. Yeah.
boy boy band concerts
And
and
I
everything.
love
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Have been
I wish and I hope that Disney does end up doing like a theme on like,
yeah,
Desis as well. Like your
yeah,
typical Desi Indian Pakistani slash
exactly.
Bengali child. And
Yeah,
because
like
there's a lot of
the
similar concepts
huh,
to
the
I feel like we're
closest
getting
we've
close
got.
now. I mean, like
Yeah,
we've gotten from the US to
yeah,
through Europe, gone
yeah,
through China. Soon enough, we're
yeah.
gonna have movies on our cultures as
Like
well.
the closest in Turning Red is that like one of Meme's friends, her name is Priya Devan. So
Yeah,
again, an immigrated Indian, probably.
yeah,
Yeah. So we're getting close to like the Desi part of the world, the Southeast
yeah.
Asia.
and Miss Marvel is
I
coming up and
agree.
she's
Yeah,
Pakistani.
Kamala
So
Khan. Yeah.
Yes, we're gonna have it very soon.
Yeah.
And honestly, what like I liked another thing that I loved about the movie was how Meme was allowed to make her choice about keeping her panda. I mean, like she
Yeah.
embraced it like fully from the start,
And then her
and
whole
she
family supported it.
treated it like
Her.
a monster. And her entire family was like, "Hey, you know what? You want to do this? Go for it." We
Hmm.
didn't make that choice. We didn't want to, but if you want to do this for yourself, go for it. What I did dislike was her mom turning into a giant ass panda, following her, causing rampage, breaking down an entire concert hall, traumatizing all those kids along with their parents because I just know for a fact that in the background they're gonna be like, you know what? No more concerts. We don't want another giant red panda attacking you.
Yeah,
bro, if
that
it
was
was
a
my
kaiju.
mom,
That
that
was
was
a
a Backstreet
kaiju.
Boy. If it was my mom and that was the Backstreet Boys like hanging from the ledge, I would never like be able to hear another song again without feeling this embarrassment. I was secondhand embarrassed for May at
Yeah.
that point. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
god.
Like there's a kaiju panda tearing down the roof of the stadium, and your favorite, like everyone you know probably in the city, your whole age group is there, and there's a giant panda screaming, May May. Go home. How dare you attend this concert without my permission? Yeah. But no,
Oh,
like overall, like it was a really good movie, like for girls especially. And it shows because I was watching the documentary and I found out that pretty much all the lead people in the making of this movie, like the director, the producer, the visual effects supervisor, the screenwriter, the story supervisor, they're all women. So it's a
okay.
women-led movie. And yeah, the inspirations they were drawing, like the director Domishi, sorry,
Hmm.
Domishi, she has explicitly stated that she found inspiration in her own childhood from this. She was a immigrated Chinese Canadian, and she has drawn on her own inspirations and her own childhood experiences.
Hmm.
Her love of anime. She used to draw fan art of Inuyasha, Sailor Moon, Fruits Basket,
Hmm.
like the documentary even showed her parents holding up a sketchbook, and there's like, I entered a fan art competition when I was a teenager, and the theme was that you have to draw Draco Malfoy's children. So one of her artworks was that, like, Draco
Oh,
Malfoy's son. So that was really interesting, and it shows like how much they've
hmm.
thought about all of this, and it's so relatable now.
I know. I'm
No,
so
it is.
glad we're getting more female empowerment in this field because, like, I mean, like 10 years ago, we didn't even have any female-based main characters in any movies.
Yeah.
I mean, and now we're finally getting female-led movies. Like we got Black Widow, the, we got Encanto, we got so many other movies and
Yeah.
TV shows that are being led by females. And it's about more than just a love story at this point. I mean, it's
Yeah.
more than about being in love with a guy. It's about being in love with yourself, with your
Yeah.
family.
Yeah, like
And
I remember when Frozen came out, the first one.
hmm,
It,
yeah,
it it was such a unique thing at the time. Like Frozen and Brave, both of them. Like there was no love
yeah,
interest. The girl was the hero, and there was love of family and everything. Like for in Brave, Merida was she was
hmm,
helping her mother and everything, and in Frozen they showed the love between two sisters. There was no love interest. Like there was a side love interest, Han,
hmm,
Kristoff, and Anna, but it
Okay.
wasn't the main focus. So
yeah.
we've come a long way from that.
We have,
Yeah.
and I'm so glad we have, and I feel like it's only gonna get better at this point. I mean, I
Yeah.
know this movie got a lot of backlash. How could you talk about puberty in a movie? It's for kids,
Yeah.
and I'm just saying we have movies where rats are kissing each other.
Yeah, and
Like
like
make
movie, like
like
as far
finally,
back as The Lion King, we are seeing parent figures getting killed. Like Tarzan, they didn't show explicitly, but the scene where Clayton got hung by the vines, they showed
yeah,
his shadow, and then like. Okay, Disney's been approaching adult themes for a very long time. It's nothing new. They're just pushing the boundaries a bit more. So go with it.
yeah. Yeah, except
I
like
was
back then they
traumatized
weren't
when I
like
saw
being
that.
that focused on it. They were just like keeping it hidden and like we had to find the meanings.
Hmm.
And now they're like, okay, you know what? We're sick of it. We're just gonna shove the meaning into your face. And I
Yeah.
love that
Yeah.
because like this is like because like let's face it, a lot of people don't really pay that much attention. They won't sit and go over the details watching the movie multiple times.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
they need to be more obvious about these things, and they've started doing that, and that is something that I've actually really enjoyed a lot.
Hmm. Yeah, Yamna, you were saying something?
Yeah, I was saying like Mufasa's death traumatized the heck out
Yeah,
of me as a kid. I
exactly.
don't think
Yes.
anyone's gonna be traumatized if someone's read Peony Blooms, Like
No.
if anything, I feel like especially like in our culture and our society, this is very like taboo wali
Hmm.
baat hai. Like you don't bring it up, you don't talk about it.
Especially with
Hmm.
Ramadan coming up.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Especially with Ramadan
it's just
coming
a
up.
really
Yeah.
awkward thing all of a sudden. And I feel like it's a natural thing. There's no shame behind it. There's nothing
Hmm.
dirty behind it.
Yeah.
There's no connotations of anything like that's negative. It's just an actual process. And
Hmm.
like I'm
Yeah.
like what I'm really glad about is that there are some companies, I don't know about Pakistan yet, but abroad that are giving women time off for that time of the month.
Yeah.
You don't have to
Yeah,
come to work.
exactly.
Imagine, like,
It's paid leave.
like
Like I think there's one company in Pakistan, and that's also like recently, maybe a year or so, that they've started giving
I think I
leaves.
read something. I wasn't
Yeah,
sure. Like, and I did hear that one
yeah,
company did it, and I was like, I'm really
yeah.
proud
I don't
because
remember
as a
the
woman,
name, but there is one in Pakistan right now. But again, it's a very like delayed start. Like hopefully in a few years, maybe more companies start catching on. Let's see.
yep, yep. So, you guys want
So
to say anything, or should we move to ratings?
we can move to ratings, I guess. Kanza, anything to say? Anything more to add?
Not really, to be honest. I mean, like, I'm just hoping they continue with this thing
Yeah.
that they're on about leading towards people. This is normal stuff. This is stuff that you've been through, and the whole "you're not alone" message. Because Lord knows that in the
Yeah.
time that we are right now, with everything going on, it is a much needed message for people,
Hmm.
especially kids that are going up in the technology age.
Mhm.
Mm, mm, I
Yeah,
agree.
so I guess in the end, like the whole puberty and everything aside,
Hmm.
the most basic message of the film, I saw it on someone's Twitter status. It's gotten viral, but I really love that. So basically, it's like embrace the don't hate the part of you that is cringe. Just kill the part of you
Embrace
that
the cringe.
cringes. Kill the part
Yeah.
of you that cringes. Don't be embarrassed
Yeah.
by what you're going through, and like basically you're growing. Don't be embarrassed by it. There will be
Hmm.
changes, so just embrace
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, that's the
So
perfect message of the movie.
yeah, yeah.
The movie had a lot
So
of good themes. And yeah, one more thing before we
yeah,
continue to ratings. I love that her dad,
yeah,
I love that he, like, like told her to, like, he kind of had a talk with her, and he's like, beta, like, I
yeah,
mean, sorry, beta. No, like, child, like, embrace who you are. And I think that's what empowered her, because all of the female, like, relatives were like, oh my God, no, like, you have to give up the panda. But he told her
yeah,
that, no, like,
yeah.
you're so beautiful with it and you're so fun with it. And I love this parental representation.
Hmm.
Not every time does your, like, boyfriend slash prince slash husband have to be the one, like, making you realize who you are and what's your worth. It should be your parental figure. It should
Yeah.
be your father. It should
Honestly,
be your mother.
another thing that I loved about that entire encounter was like her dad told her that her mom's panda was big, but like she probably thought he meant like 2 stories at best, not
Yeah.
taller than a stadium.
Not a freaking kaiju.
And Mei was just like, she's that big, and he was like, I told you.
She was attacked
And
on Titan News.
yeah, and I don't know if you guys saw, like there was like a mid credits or a post credit scene in Turning Red where the dad is in the basement and he's listening to Meme's Four Town CD that she got from Miriam in the start, and he's dancing along, and he's a Four Townie, and he's embracing his own fanboy side too. So that was a really like a
And
cute little
speaking of
ending.
the fanboys, I loved how we got like a tiny teenage boy at the stadium that they
Tyler.
met. And
Tyler,
I was
yeah.
being bullied to them. And I
Yeah.
love that. It's like,
Too. It was so cute.
Yeah.
like we know, like we grew up knowing that these guys were into Backstreet Boys, but they used to get bullied about it and everything
Yeah.
back then. Okay, hey, why are you in love with a
Yeah.
boy band? Now
Like
they're finally
like
saying,
secret, huh? They kept it secret.
and now they're being to the guys like, hey, you know what? You love this boy band, fine, that's good. Rock that merch, rock that entire outfit at the stadium, cry
And we're-
about it if you want.
Yeah, and we're
then
gonna
the
be
boys-
besties.
They didn't like make fun of him or anything. They just pointed him out like that
Yeah.
Spider-Man meme, hey, you too.
Yeah.
And then they
They
just
just
like,
grabbed him and like, join
Yeah.
us. We hugged him.
And then they're
So sweet.
besties all of a sudden.
okay, I think we're getting far too ahead into the discussion now.
It's fine.
But
It's worth
let's
it.
give it the ratings.
Okay,
Sami,
ratings.
Now what are your ratings?
I would give it easily a 9, or a 10 even. I'd say 9.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's a 9. Yumna, what about you?
Oh, it's easily a 10.
Hmm.
Yeah, for me, even I would give it a 10.
Hmm.
So that would round off our ratings towards 9.5, 10.
Yeah. I'm
9.5.
giving it a 9 because there's so many other things that they can explore, and I hope just like in Kanto that maybe they turn it into a series, like a sequel, but in a series format, so they can explore other things as well.
Yeah.
So I'm giving it a 9 for now.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so we're gonna end this off with a total of 9.5 from us. Let us know in the comments below what you think, and thank you for joining us in our session of talking about Turning Red. And we will see you soon.
I still want a big fuzzy red panda to cuddle.